Coming up next on RaceSpotTV is the Fight Like a Girl 200 benefit race from Homestead-Miami Speedway, presented by TBM here on RaceSpotTV. Join us in just a few moments' time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to RaceSpotTV here. I'm Richard Whiteford. I'm joined by Jake Sperry. Welcome to a special presentation of RaceSpotTV here on iRacing Live, presented for Turn 3 Motorsports, and this is the Fight Like a Girl 200, 134 laps here from Homestead-Miami Speedway, and this one is a special event here on RaceSpotTV. Turn 3 Motorsports team member and iRacer Brad Miller and his family have been facing a battle with cancer. Brad's wife Melissa was diagnosed with breast cancer, and which she has undergone surgery for. She's currently receiving 8 rounds of chemotherapy every 2 weeks for the next 4 months, and then 30 rounds of radiation to follow that. This event is here to support Brad, Melissa and their family. We ask that you show your support for Brad and the rest of them. Of course, throughout this race, drivers are paying an entry fee of $20 for this special benefits race. Of course, there is a PayPal address in the comments below if you wish to make donations towards them and the family, of course, in this terrible time for them. But the race, as we go so far, Jake, we have qualifying in the books and we are waiting for that clock to run down now. We can go and have a look at our positions for the starting grid. On pole for tonight's event, Will Cozy with a time of 28.891. Great time for him, joining him on the front row. Adam Benefiel just narrowly missing out. Row number 2, Randall Fawkes and J.R. Smith. Row number 3, Doug George and Samuel Roush. Row number 4, Jason S. Merritt and Jason K. Miller. With row number 5, Chuck Sweeting and Alan Pshal.
Yeah, certainly a very good row then in the early stage that we're looking at as well. And you look further down, likes of P11, Christian Schallner, P12, Scotty Rainsheld. And then you look at likes of Carl Rhodes, Carlos Finesca making row 7, row 8, Jonathan Medeiros and Jason Tarasenko. And then you got the likes of Michael Genius, Josh Mertz, rounding out the top 20, Brad Fink and Samuel Harris.
Certainly is. Row number 11 tonight, Sven Karatz and Joshua Campbell. Row number 12, Francois Peltier and Ernie Ludwig. Row number 13, Justin Laird and Dustin Ping. Row number 14, Carlos Gonzalez, Jason Daniels. 15, Brad Miller and Jamie Martin. And the final row, Steve Goodyear and Michael Talbot, although I believe technically those four might actually be race stewards, so we'll keep our eyes on that one as the cars get themselves lined up on pit road, ready to make it out on the track here. Homestead-Miami Speedway, though, with some track facts for you here. Well, it is a 1.5 mile. Technically, it's a square, something more akin to the likes of Indianapolis. Homestead definitely more on the different side of the tracks compared to your typical cookie cutter mile-and-a-half tracks. We have, of course, well, 18 to 20 degrees of progressive banking in the corners, 3 degrees on the straights. Of course, the record here was held from 2006, and that's actually one of the Penske Racing Indy cars with Sam Hornish Jr. 24 seconds, a little bit faster than these NASCAR Cup cars we have here today. The Monster Energy Cup cars taken out on track. We have the Fords, the Chevys, and Toyotas ready to line up for today's race. 134 laps or 200 miles here today. If you're just tuning in and joining us now, welcome aboard and welcome to this special benefits broadcast here for Brad Miller and his wife Melissa, who's currently fighting a battle with cancer. Waiting to get the cars off pit road now, led out onto the track by the iRacing safety car there, the Ford Mustang pace car. Don't forget, Homestead-Miami Jake has a little quirk: pit entrance and exit, and not quite the normal line.
No, they're certainly not here, and having to go pretty deep into the infield to get back out onto pit road is always going to be a challenge to these drivers, with a grass strip on either side that's going to make exiting and entering pit road certainly one of the more difficult challenges here today for 134 laps. You would feel that with these drivers looking to make those big pushes up and down the field, that it's certainly not going to be as simple as driver in first Will Cooley wins this race out front.
Could be that simple, but at the same time it might not. This track is certainly on the tricky side. Tyres will be a major factor in today's race, and whilst they may be able to make this race technically green flag to green flag on 2 pit stops, will the tyres make it that far? It's unlikely, of course. The inside lane going to follow the pit out line there for you. The outside line going to go up onto the racetrack. An unusual start to these events, of course, but everyone has to pit in through that infield line, and at speed and green flag conditions, that could be a tricky pit entrance to make, Jake.
It certainly can, and even though it's a green flag pit entrance, it may very soon turn into a caution-based yellow flag entrance. And well, with that pit entrance being difficult, it's about how you actually negotiate off of this oval to get yourself back in. Of course, with the less progressive banking that's also there, you would feel that it's a little bit easier than some. I do expect a couple of vehicles, though, to get caught up at the top, out of the groove, and up into that top wall.
Certainly possible. Going to get the cars lined up now 2 by 2 as we come round the final 2 corners here on the pace lap. That Ford Mustang pace car will take the long left-hand turn down towards pit road, and we'll get ourselves racing here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Will Cooley and Adam Benefiel on that front row. The pace car pulls to the left. American Ethanol green flag will fly. We're racing here in the Fight Like a Girl 200 here on RaceSpotTV. Huge jump is expected there by Will Cooley into the first corner. Gets a perfect line he wants, going up high. Sweeping back down to pull the gap early on here as it's still too wide. A little bit further through your pack. Split field here for you of experience, actually, in this one. Some of the drivers from the NASCAR Picantery Series, of course, taking place in this one. A number of drivers from Canada, Benelux as well in this one, as well as a couple of UK and I entries. So it's quite a split field. And I believe we've got an issue for our broadcaster, so I'm going to keep on talking as though it's happening, because, of course, it'll come back at some point and we'll just go straight back to live, Jake.
Yeah, we certainly will in this situation. Nice 2-wide battling. We got lanes at the front. Battle for P2, though. Randall Folks looking to get past Adam Benefiel, then down towards the inside. And, well, thank you very much. Position sorted. And there we go. It's as easy as that. And at the front, the driver of Will Cooley starting to break away a little bit. Now, battle going on now for P4 now, going out on circuit P4, P3. Benefiel is falling backwards.
He certainly is. And, well, he will be out there. At the front of Benefiel, actually, yeah, really struggling right now. Randall Fawkes made that pass fairly early on, and he's holding that position right now. The 83 car, and Benefiel under pressure here from JR Smith, who looks to go underneath him into turn number 3. He'll do just that. Make a move there for JR Smith. He'll get that one done. 42, Doug George also looking like he wants to try and make a move, as we're going to have a quick ad break for you here, folks, as we talk about some technical difficulties, and I'll be back with you in just a few moments' time.
I grew up in Northern California. My parents were just really big race fans and took my sister and I to, sprint car races pretty much every Friday and Saturday night. So I did outlaw kart racing from 7 till I was 14. And then that's when I got into 360 and 410 wing sprint cars. There's just something about dirt racing that's just, you can't get anywhere else. I enjoy going back to race them whenever I can. I get to run about 20 to 25 dirt races a year and try and put on a show every time I'm there.
Battle for the lead. Kyle Larson to the inside of Shane Stewart. Slide job, no. Larson unable to complete the pass. He'll follow Shane Stewart down the back straightaway. Stewart makes the move to the inside of Craig Kinsler. Kyle Larson goes around the outside out of turn 4. You've got a new race leader. Kyle Larson from ninth leads on lap number 23.
I'm probably just a little more relaxed, I guess, at the dirt track just because it's for fun, where the NASCAR stuff, it's points racing and a lot bigger sponsors and stuff you have to please and all that. You're there for 3 days a week, so your approach is a little bit different there, where sprint cars you're there for 5 or 6 hours and moving on to the next racetrack. So I've been on iRacing, I think, since 2009 or 10. Yeah, I remember, starting out, as a rookie on there, in the legends and the late models and stuff like that. And that was fun to, have to try and get your licenses up and stuff. But it's amazing to me how, now that I get to race on a lot of the tracks that are on there, how to the T, similar because of the laser scanning and stuff like that. So all the bumps and all the visual aspects of it are very good. So when I first got to like K&N and then the Nationwide Series at the time, I would race iRacing all the time to learn as much as I could about the racetrack before I went to the actual racetrack to race. So to me, it's just for fun now, so I enjoy going on there. Actually, I don't enjoy going on there all the time because I don't win a lot, so it's frustrating to see myself struggle to run top 10 in an Xfinity race or something like that and get beat by Logan Seavey every time I run a sprint car. So the level of competition on iRacing is better than real life. You've got thousands of drivers on there that, a lot of them are probably better than the people you see on TV. They just haven't had the opportunities to make it, but can kick butt on there. And
welcome back here to Homestead-Miami and the Fight Like a Girl 200 here on RaceSpotTV. We do apologise for minor technical issues we just had, but you know what, the drivers on track, Jake, they just saw what was happening, and well, the 21 back in your pack, he decided to help the 84 around. Light little bump in turn number 3, no one really damaged, but we got a caution and we managed to get our pause. We needed to fix our issues on our end, so we are back pacing. We're going to restart coming up in just a few laps time.
Yeah, we certainly will. Jason Tarasenko then turning around Jonathan Medeiros, and well, for Tarasenko, it is as easy as that to turn a vehicle around. He just got himself a back to front, what you call a quarter panel tap, and it was as easy as that for the turnaround for Medeiros. It means that the 31 is still going. Of course, one fast repair in this series, Rachel, so that's going to be crucial for drivers to get back into this event. So a crash and a major pileup is not necessarily end of the world for drivers, and it's going to be very crucial because I believe it was from about 7th back that all decided to take that pit stop very early for fresh tyres.
So they did. A lot of drivers coming down for fresh tyres. It has only been about 5 or 6 laps so far, but hey, fresh tyres always matter. It could be a long green flag run and it could make a difference later on. Of course, these drivers, well, look at the conditions for us right now. Actually, it's about it's cloudy-ish weather outside. It's about 75 degrees on the track, and it's about 75 degrees in the air, about 86 degrees on the track. Winds, but westerly, 5-6 miles an hour, just changing variably. For Miami, though, humidity's on the low side, it's about 39%, so this is great racing conditions, actually, Jake, and this should really benefit the tyres.
Yeah, it certainly will, and beneficial for the tyres. Indeed, it will mean that they will wear off a little bit less, but the lights off on top of the Ford Mustang pace car. I'm sure that we will be soon expecting an American ethanol green flag.
We certainly will be getting that flag out in just a few moments' time, as right now the cars will line up. Of course, a bit of shake-up there. JR Smith lost a spot off his starting position. But no, sorry, it's Adam Benefield lost a couple of spots. He's down in 5th place now. Randall Fawkes, JR Smith, and Doug George made positions on him in the early running. 3rd, 4th, and 5th moved up 1 spot each, respectively. So we'll get ready to go green this time by, and we'll see what's happening in today's race. But things, well, a way of getting exciting here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. And well, as we'll come through turns 3 and 4 this time by, the pace car will once again pull off the track, and we'll get ourselves back under green flag conditions. The race will go back, and I am behind because we were already racing as I was still watching the replay, so I was completely out of time there, folks. I apologize for that one. Will Cooley out front there, 51 of Fawkes and George behind him. 42 car running up in the 3rd spot. Doug George had dropped a spot, actually. Adam Benefield made up one of those positions he'd lost early on. It's been a benefit for him there, Jake, but behind them we've got a good grouping here, the 13, 26 and the 83. Getting pretty close back here in the battle for 5th, 6th and 7th.
Yeah, they certainly are, and well, this opening group certainly looking to get a little bit feisty here. Benefield versus Sweeting. Sweeting on the outside, looking to hold that nice run. It's going to get washed out on the outside. No real opportunity to get through. Benefield needs to tuck back into line. He does so in this 4-car train. In the back of P2, out on circuit, Randall Fawkes and JR Smith going at it together as they try and get back to Will Cooley. JR Smith in front right now, doing a good job of things, holding it line stern and one track racing. That's what we're seeing from most of the front. Side by side though, further back, Dustin Ping now under pressure and losing it on the outside as down to the inside. Scotty Reinschild went through.
Made that position up very easily at that point in time, but we took a look here, back around 16th and 17th place, and Alan Pajal and Joshua Campbell there getting into a good bunch up here as we run through 1 and 2. The 8 ahead of them, Campbell there, and 24 on the higher side. Dustin Ping just being held on a different line there, not quite where he wanted to be, but managing to make it work right now. He is losing some spot though to the inside line in 3 and 4. Much better line down there on the low side with the track as it currently is. The banking just a little bit gentler, but the cars can get looser, of course, Jake, so something for him to watch later in a fuel run. It could actually benefit the 24, dropping some spots now, but having something left later on, as he's actually gone all the way back to 18th place. Yes, and he's been struggling on the fact that he was one of the drivers to not decide to come down in, make that stop vehicle, though, down into the grass and a little bit further. That's Ernie Ludwig there, starting to have those struggles in the 63, gets it back going again. But that was what you were saying, Rachel, incredibly loose coming off of the corner, and that was almost just enough to make sure that it wasn't going to work. Battle, though, still going on between Reinschild and now Jason K. Miller, and now Miller is going to be the driver losing that position, as now up inside the top 10 goes that driver of Scotty Reinschild. He certainly does, and Will Cooley, your 25 car out front here. A good margin, about 7/10 of a second at this point in time over JR Smith and Randall Fawkes, running back in the 2nd and 3rd position. Those two pretty close together, but wow, Will Cooley just gapping the field right now, doing exactly what he has to do in this early stage of the race. At 15 here of 134, so we are looking to be about maybe 35 laps before we look at fuel perhaps being a problem. Maybe 40 laps, Jake, so these guys already want to be looking at the tyres after about the 40 lap mark. It's not going to be a hugely long run, perhaps, but fuel perhaps less the concern than it is the rubber on those tyres. Yes, that is certainly going to be a point, because we're struggling to see too wide, even though we're seeing it in dribs and drabs. It means that the lines that are going to be put up here today are going to be very much one track, and one groove will work for a little bit. Then you'll have to move up as that groove gets a little bit too hot, and a different groove will come into play and work that little bit more. Battles going on, the likes of Samuel Harris, Alan Pajari, and Joshua Campbell. This little battle P13 down is always going to be very crucial with what is going on. In fact, we have one vehicle coming in early, and that's Steve Gauthier, who's going to decide to drop down onto pit road. Yeah, not a decision I might have made at this stage, actually, but he's going to go down there himself and see what he can do. Really kind of surprised by that sort of pit stop at this stage of the race. We'll see what he does when he comes into his box. Is he in for any particular reason? The Blackadder Motorsports driver will be getting tyres, so just couldn't handle the way the car was feeling early on, so maybe coming in for adjustment, figuring he'll take 4 tyres as well. This is going to put him really off sequence, though.
Yeah, it certainly is. And actually at the front there, not the best of turn 3 and 4s there for Will Cooley. Drops 0.3 of a second to Smith and Folks. And Smith and Folks actually really closing up at a rate of knots here. So it could soon be a 3-car battle for the front of the field. And oh, how quickly the tides turn in Miami.
Certainly does, of course, in the draft. Kind of big impact here. You wouldn't expect it being a mile and a half, but working with another car at Homestead-Miami could really be a huge benefit. And Smith and Folks, they're going to have that benefit. Whereas Cooley just gapping a bit, really hasn't got any help up there, so he's got to do what he can. But clean air, of course, a huge benefit at this racetrack compared to track position, of course. A little bit further back, we'll look at where it's going on towards the bottom of your top 10. Pretty clean running, actually, throughout the top 10. Everyone single file and spaced out. The closest is second and third there with Smith and Folks. Get a bit of close racing a little bit further back. We just had Joshua Mertz passed by Francois Pertier, but Pertier ran himself deep. He's going to lose that spot back there to Mertz, as Mertz in the number 14 will come back on the low side. Should easily be able to make that position.
Should easily be able to make that position, but again, very good there on the high side. Tries that driver of Pelletier, and Pelletier there trying to hold it. He has got the draft to work with into 3 and 4. This was where Pelletier tried to hold it deep down the inside last lap, but this lap going to be a little bit different. Still stuck on that high side as Mertz looks to work the low side here to try and get himself a good opportunity. And he's doing a good job there, Rachel, of holding that position, even though there's no help for him there down that inside. But finally, after 2 laps of hard work and graft, there is going to be no opportunity to go through. But as I say that, washing out is Pelletier, and here comes Mertz back again to the inside.
Yeah, the high side a little bit more difficult to keep real momentum going up on that top side here. But Miami, one of those true multi-groove tracks here. In fact, I think we will see drivers running a few different lines throughout this one and seeing different things work throughout the duration of the race. But looking back towards the front of the gap to Will Cooley's really come down now. Under 0.3 of a second here. J.R. Smith and Randall Folks really on his back now, as we could see your leader for the first 22 laps of this race really under threat here. Look at the big overspeed for J.R. Smith. Right up to join Will Cooley at this point, but getting past him. Whole different prospect.
It certainly is here, Rachel, and getting yourself down to the inside when you have no real help of benefit to get yourself with, that's always going to be the nightmare that J.R. Smith is facing, because he can very easily use Will Cooley to punch that hole through the air. But once you break yourself out of that air and try and get that overspeed on your own, it is very much a different prospect. And still, J.R. Smith will sit, happily wait behind, maybe will look for a green flag opportunity to make those stops. He knows that sitting in the middle is arguably the best position for him at the moment, because he knows that if the driver in front or the driver behind decides to come in, as he gets a little loose actually coming out of 4, he knows that he can respond to either one of those drivers and call on his strategy there perfectly.
Certainly is. And wow, looking at what we've seen, if we look at Will Cooley's times, I'm not sure these front guys came down pit road, Jake. No, they didn't. The first guys did not come down pit road on the caution we had a little bit earlier. All 3 of those drivers staying out, so tyres age should be the same. That shouldn't be a major problem for them. They're all looking at very similar conditions here. You see who's actually looking after those better. And honestly, that could actually be the 51 car back there. Randall Folks could be in the best spot.
Yeah, and we know Randall Folks from the Raven Graphics series that we have on Wednesday night. So for the driver of Randall Folks, he knows exactly what he needs to do at the front of field, and he'll be looking to bring that experience to the fold against some of the drivers who are up there at the very top of NASCAR sim racing as things stands at the moment. So holding himself in position is one thing, looking to make moves is the other, as there's contact there between the drivers of Ping, likes of Tarasenko involved as well. All 3 of them get themselves down onto the apron. Tarasenko's second straight incident.
Oh, big crash there back off turn number 4, but we have no caution out for us here. The 21 car was involved in that first caution, as you know, and that's going to cause them some problems here on the racetrack. And got a replay for you there of what happened, and you'll see there once again the 21 car just going too deep. He touches the 63 car, turns him round, gets hit by the 24.
And
big crash. Yeah, no caution will come out though in that point in time, so that's going to cost them dearly. But the 21 has been involved in both our incidents so far today. That will be, I'm sure, looked at from the stewards as we're back live, of course. And The battle here with Will Cooley out front has managed to pull the gap open on JR Smith and Randall Fuchs again. Oh, it's Fuchs hits the wall hard there. Loses huge amounts of time behind him, the 83. Oh, Adam Benefield will look to come past here if he gets a chance, but got loose on the front stretch. That's unusual, Jake.
Well, he lost the position on that last lap whilst we were at replay to Randall Fuchs, and now JR Smith under pressure. Benefield down to the inside, trying to work that line, and again, a little bit loose there from the driver of JR Smith, who will go up high side and lose the position through 3 and 4, and that will be a big loss in factor for JR Smith, who's bumped outside the podium positions. It is important to talk about those podium positions, Rachel. There are prizes on offer. $100 iRacing gift card for first, 50 for second, 25 for third. So there's a lot at stake for those drivers who are pushing themselves at the highest level possible. Reinscheld, though, is a driver making progress. He's looking now at Chuck Sweeting for P7.
Certainly is, and P7 will be currently held by Chuck Sweeting, but the 77 car, Reinscheld looking like he wants to look to the inside there. Gonna have a look inside into number 1, but not gonna have an overlap yet, I don't think, but he should be able to get himself, yep, he will have the inside line, but sorry, I can English, I promise. Chuck Sweeting will have the momentum of the corner, which should help him hold it, but the 77 will get through there. Scotty Reinscheld will get his spot. The 03 have a look as well. Jason S. Merritt going to take a look there as just what we're discussing is giving Jake Sperry some stick. He's not a NASCAR commentator. I was just telling him, we don't really do podiums in NASCAR, Jake. It's the winner, and then it's whoever didn't win second and didn't win third.
True.
3 wide here coming off turn number 2. Actually, there is all contact with the 03. And just behind him, we'll get a replay of what just happened there, because that was a bit of a moment. 78 car, Kristen Challoner. This kind of started early, but Challoner kind of pushed up and got the 03 loose and got him sideways, and the 03 he just goes deep onto the grass. Doesn't hit the wall. Lucky escape for him, but he'll lose a lot of track position.
Certainly will, but for the lead, Rachel, right now changes. Benefield from nowhere, now up at the front, so certainly has a great second half pace where he didn't have it in the first sort of few laps that we've had, and now Cooley getting bumped almost to the outside, a little bit out of the groove as Folks tries to work his way down to the inside, and well, thank you very much, that he says, and he's got himself side by side, looking to get himself up into position number 2 once again. He gets the nose, though, as they head over the start-finish line, and once again, up high is the driver of Will Cooley, now starting to struggle.
Absolutely, and this is one of those things of going hard early. It can cost you later on in the run, of course, and Adam Benefield there up front with a great overlap. He did not stop during that first stint, so either the guys are all on the same tyres, but he just had a far better first stint here, Jake. He's just really managed to hold his tyres in one piece. He ran a little slower. He's reaping the benefits later on. This track is, of course, notoriously aggressive on tyres.
It is, and the fact that tyres can be eaten up very quickly, it's going to mean that life can be difficult for drivers. JR Smith, for example, falling backwards, now in P6 behind Roush, behind Doug George, and now with Scotty Reinscheld trying to close down that gap. That's going to be something to look at, though. Battle further down, Chuck Sweeting under pressure on the inside from Josh Campbell on the outside, and looking to try and thread the needle potentially in the future is Alan Pajari then in this small little scraps going on. Vehicle down pit road is Samuel Harris, so early stop as well on lap 33. We're starting to get closer towards that window that we normally see operate, Rachel.
Certainly is, and of course we're just past lap 34 here, onto 35, so inside that final 100 laps of this motor race. And you are right, Jake, we're about entering the early part of that pit window here where tyres are going to be too bad for some of the drivers, and we'll start seeing people come down pit road. He said it's a 2-stop on fuel. You know what? It's more like, I'd say, a 3, or possibly, if you're unlucky, a 4-stop here on tyres. So I think 3 stops is going to be generous to what we actually expect here. As up the hill goes the car there of that was the 85 or the 05 JR Smith. Yeah, went all the way up the hill there, and that cost him a lot of momentum. Didn't get a big hit, but look at this, he's lost so much momentum. He's given up places there to both the 73 and the 8. So Miller and Campbell making it through. The 29 of Pajari also going to look to have a go at this one. Big run here by the 88 as well. It's an absolute parking lot here, as everybody's going to make it past. There's all 3 wide there. 88 on the low side. He's actually a stopper That's Samuel Harris. He's out of pit road, so not on the same lap as these guys. He's making his time up here on the racetrack. He wants to get himself unlapped from the leader before he pits. That would be a big benefit for him, but that's why he passed so quickly. And 3 wide with 2 battling cars in the lead lap is a little brave, especially at Homestead.
It is, and trying to navigate your way through the traffic, it does rely on a little bit of help from the other drivers around you. I want to keep my eye, though, on the P3 battle going on right now, because Cooley has dropped back into the clutches of George and Roush. Samuel Roush in position number 5. Arguably in the catbird seat, then got a little bit of traffic in front when they have the likes of Matthew Talbot to get past. Also, other drivers like Ludwig and Gonzalez, who clips the wall up through 3 and 4, trying to negotiate around, so he will drop down and lose a slew of positions right now due to the fact that he is losing all of that momentum, and again just encroaching a little bit in towards turn number 1. There is going to be not too brilliant for Will Cooley. As we say, it's an open invitational, shall we say, Rachel. It's not going to be a case of all the best drivers are here at the same time.
Certainly, of course. And we talk about drivers who've had not such a great day. One of those is J.R. Smith. He's down in 12th place now. Actually, as more drivers come onto pit road here. 12th place, and he had that big hit across the front stretch, and he's now got a lot of damage on his front right side, especially the front right corner. That is really holding him up here. He's begging for a caution, I'm expecting, as we'll have a quick look back at the early 88ers. Samuel Harris, once again, going 3 wide in 1 and 2 there. Getting past the 42 and the 13, goes for the 25, will go past Will Cooley there. In fact, he's nearly going to unlap himself with the way this is going. He's got 2 cars up ahead of him. Randall Fawkes, Adam Benefield, and he'll get through with no real problem. That's the benefit of new tyres, though. Just the comparison in lap times. We'll look at what Will Cooley's doing. Leader early on, 31.182. What are we looking at from the likes of the 88 car? Samuel Harris, he's doing 30s. So that's a big overlap. But he doesn't want to burn what he's got too soon here, Jake. That will cost him. The high side run, he's going to try and thread the needle here between the 51 and the 63. Not going to be too optimistic yet, but he'll go to the inside of Randall Fawkes in 3. Fawkes knows he's not on the same lap. He lets him go. No major problems. We'll tick through onto lap 40 this time by for your leaders. Well, 40 laps completed, I should say. On to 42. Adam Benefield, the gap now 2.2 seconds. He's really got his field. The tyres just lasting for him so well. His times, though, 30.8 for Adam Benefield, your leader. That's how big the difference is. 31.4 for Fawkes last time by. George at a 31.1. Well, Cooley, 31.2. So Adam Benefield, nearly 3-4 tenths faster than the competition right now. This is what saving your tyres early on can do for you. He is cruising, Jake.
He is, and that 2.2 second gap is going to be so crucial. 3 wide with Cooley and co. Doug George in there. Ludwig there at top. Roush trying to thread the needle through the middle, and is going to be able to do so. No run off the exit from him, and it's going to be very much more different from Doug George, who now gets himself up into the podium position right now. What a brilliant scrap this is for position number 3 overall, and Cooley will now lose it to Challoner as well. So Cooley going back to position number 7 out on circuit. You feel that these drivers like Cooley, who did stay out earlier, who have those 3-lap older tyres, maybe need to come down sooner rather than later, or they are going to be struggling. Look at this battle further down, though. Campbell in the 8 against Miller here going on in the 73. Miller's got the outside, but you can see Campbell on that inside looking to try and make that push down to that inside, which is getting a little bit more help than it was earlier on, thanks to Ludwig just in front. And you know what? He's going to try and encroach up, close the door there on the 73, and thank you very much. Position sorted.
Yeah, certainly. 63 tries to find himself a slot at the top of the track. He can't find it. The 8 and the 72 behind him fighting now. The 8's gotten through. Campbell going to make some good speed. That kind of first groove up there, of course, a little faster than being right on the bottom, Jake. But you've got a real big kicker coming off turn number 2 there. What you can't really see from the TV camera angles, of course, is coming off turn number 2, you've got a real hump on the track where it kind of levels out and kind of lifts almost. And if you get loose coming off turn 2, you'll see a lot of cars will really kind of just lose the back end, go to the inside there off 2. It's a real danger zone on this racetrack as up towards 3rd place. We're looking at a battle here up top, the 42 of Doug George, Samuel Roush, the 13. On the bottom, the 78 of Christian Challoner, looking for somewhere to go here. Challoner qualified in 11th, up to 5th place right now, and looking to make it into 3rd place tonight. His car has been doing very well, but if I take a look at Challoner, he did make a pit stop on that first run.
Yeah, he certainly did. Randall Folkslow coming down in onto the lane and took the very, very intricate pit road. I've seen other drivers decide to make that a little bit later. He'll look for his box go in. He's one of the first of the big runners to make that move in. I would expect Benefield to decide to come in sooner rather than later now in this situation, because of the fact that there will be fresh tyres at around 2 seconds a lap. You'd feel that would be beneficial, but the battle's still going on for position number 3 as Challoner closes up there in 5th overall. Roush to the inside of George, and you feel that Roush may be going to get the run, going to get the bump there from Challoner to help him get that push down to the inside. Up, stuck on the high line. Doug George, nowhere to go.
Yeah, 4 fresh Goodyear tyres for all these cars as they hit pit road. Very busy right now, lap 48 as we race in this one today. Looking at those numbers, these guys might be on the edge of making this a 2-stopper, as you mentioned there, actually, Jake. That's possible with how long they made these tyres run, but the early caution has helped some of them do that. Not everyone's been so fortunate. A lot of cars here will have to 3-stop this race, and they have no choice in the matter. Roush up to 13, the second place, sorry, with the 13 car. 42 up top there, losing ground, trying to make it work on the outside. Gets good drive off the corner though, and it does stop that exit of 2 being quite as tight for him, but he's got nowhere to go now. Boxed in behind the 13 there. 70 at the low side, nowhere he can go with that speed. Has to lift off.
Yeah, he does, and now the 78 on the inside looking to make that move. Christian Challoner then will look to try and pinch his man up high and then use all of his run to get low, but he stays low there, doesn't get the best run off at the exit as he looks to make his charge then in through this left-hander, 1 and 2. In fact, it's all left-handers because, of course you are, Jake. You are English, for goodness sake, right now. But still, you look at Challoner get himself away, but look at the run off the exit, actually, for the driver of Doug George. George getting a stunning run as 1 will come in, 2 will come in, all 3 will decide to dive in the lane. Benefield will follow as well. Everyone has decided lap 50 is as far as we're going.
Absolutely, and that is unfortunate for those guys. Oh, as round goes, oh, contact. 42 goes round. Oh, big contact over to 13. I think the 8 managed to take evasive action. We'll try and get a replay of what happened there. He nearly hit the back of Challoner, actually. 42 locked up, trying to get himself down to speed. Couldn't quite slow down in time. Locks the brakes, spins the car out, and nearly taps the back of the 78, but rolls into the path of the 13. 8 gets clear. 42, big problem for him. Damaged race car and damaging in front there at the 13, who Samuel Roush will be in a massive mood.
Yes, and Jason K. Miller actually as well, just having an eye on him, actually came off of pit road entrance there, so got himself looking to come down onto that pit road and just tracked up too much pace and actually had to slam the brakes because he was almost into oncoming traffic again. That's how difficult pit entry can be, Rachel. It was a case of, I've got to slam on these brakes, which aren't necessarily the best in the world, and still I almost caused a major incident.
Absolutely, it's one thing they have to be very careful about. And traffic now filtering through as they try and get themselves in a position in this one to try and get themselves back on track. Old tyres, new tyres, mixture of tyres, meaning we've got 2-3 wide racing, and this is caution territory. This is the sort of racing we'll see where we'll get ourselves a yellow flag, and that could really hurt things in the race so far if we do get a caution in this middle of this cycle here. But of course, the caution does reset everyone. 17 cars on the lead, lap 19 now. 20 as everyone filters through. We're already starting to see that filter happening as everyone juggles around. Randall Forks out front at this point in time, the 51 car. Jason K. Miller has obviously headed down to pit road. Forks will inherit the lead. Chuck Sweeting in the 3rd spot, Will Cooley in 4th. As more cars will come racing behind him. The 05 will have used his fast repair, I believe. They got their backup car off the truck and he's back out on the racetrack with a slightly left end. No, he's still got his damaged car. He's not replaced it yet. So that's a brave move by JR Smith, hoping he doesn't need that backup car later on. Forks has the lead. Adam Benefield down in 4th place. Not a great stop from him, though. That was a really, really bad stop. But he does tend to run a little more gently in the start of this stint, Jake. That could be a big benefit, of course. We'll see him come to the front at the end of this stint and hopefully the last one.
Yes, he's going to be very beneficial in a green flag running. Randall Forks got the advantage by coming in that little bit earlier. His tyres will be older, and so there will be a lot more difficulty in comparison between them. To give an eye on when drivers came in, when it was lap 50-51, we saw Adam Benefield come in. Engine blown, though, down is Carlos Gonzalez. That's going to be end of that. So to get to that analogy later, Gonzalez, say the motor's gone and there is no hope going in, and it was gone before they even got to turn number 1.
Yeah, no contact for Gonzalez. He just blew that motor. Although, actually, no, he did hit it. Interesting one from Gonzalez. He lost the car going down through turn 3. Lost it onto the apron, came up the track and slams the outside wall hard and blew his motor, hitting the wall. So that was actually crash damage there for him. It wasn't just a blown motor. Crash damage from slamming the outside safer barrier here at Homestead-Miami. Got a replay there for you, Gonzalez, and what happened for him. You see him there get loose coming off 3. It can be kind of loose on the low side. He gets sideways, goes up the track and bangs. Big slam into the wall there for him. We'll go back to our live coverage, and that's Randall Fawkes out front in the 51 car. Big gap for him behind him. A second on the racetrack right now is huge indeed. Chuck Sweeting in that third place now, been passed by Will Cooley, the 25 car. All of them looking to try and reel in Randall Fawkes, but the 83 car behind them, Adam Benefield, he's the one that's been running really well. Gets underneath the 26 car, which is a lap down machine. No, it's not. It's actually Chuck Sweeting. Sorry, I apologise. That's Chuck Sweeting. You now will drop a position to Benefield. Sweeting is going to ride a little bit further behind him. The 15 car as well. Going to join this one. Although I do think this time I am correct in saying no, I'm wrong in saying so. I won't say it at all, Jake. Because it turns out my pick for cars. No, here's a lap down. I was right the first time. I didn't have to be so careful.
Yeah, Carl Rhodes then a lap down, looking to get back into play in this one. This is the difficult situations. Now Cooley becomes under pressure from Adam Benefield, who thought about looking down to the inside. Waits thinks better of it because they got Petellier in front. Samuel Harris also in front, who is struggling now on those old tyres, which he used to gain such an advantage early on. Cooley down to the inside, and now still follow-up game is going to go. In fact, Harris is going to decide to hit that vehicle in, so is clearly on a 4-tyre call rather than the 3-tyre call or the 2-tyre call that everyone else is doing. Here comes the driver, though, of Benefield to the inside. Petellier is boxed as lap traffic, and again, that high line for Cooley looking to try and make it work, but it's going to get washed out to dry, and that's going to be thank you very much, Benefield, now up into P2.
Certainly, yes, and that would be a great one for him. Getting good track position early on. Will Cooley not going to let this one slide, though, completely. He's still going to be there watching and waiting. 19 car behind them. That's a lap car. That's Francois Peltier. He has got fresh tyres, though. He had to stop a second time. His tyres have not been doing too well for him in today's race, so not an ideal situation there. So if we are looking at a second pit stop sequence here, Jake, it'll be, for our leaders at least, we're looking at perhaps maybe another 20 laps, 25 laps at this point, but this race has been going incredibly green.
It has, and that's a very good testament. Even though we've had a couple of incidents here and there, it hasn't really affected the course of the action for the drivers in the middle of the pack, and as such, no need for a caution to happen, as it's not having incidents inside the driving line. But what you have seen, though, is some very good strategy coming along in this Fight Like a Girl 200, and it's this strategy game which is trying to be played out by everyone at the moment, and Benefield here is the driver looking to chase down Randall Fawkes. This is a great little game of cat and mouse, and he was 2/10 quicker on that last lap compared to Fawkes. Fawkes is being reeled in.
Absolutely is. Randall Fawkes' early lead is being eaten away at this point in time, and we'll have a quick run through actually as we are on lap number 62 of 134. So realistically we're looking at about lap 65, 68 will be halfway in this one, but we'll have a quick look at what we've got so far, Jake. Randall Fawkes out front with Adam Benefield in second place. Cooley and Sweeting third and fourth with JR Smith in fifth. That's your top 5. Behind them, Samuel Roush, Joshua Campbell, Scott Reinschild, Doug George, Alan Pajal, your top 10. From 10th up to 20th, it's Michael Jeans, Brad Miller, Jason Merritt, Carlos Facia, Sven Kamatz, Jason K. Miller, Stephen Gaultier, last got the lap in 17th with Francois Peltier, Joshua Mertz, Kyle Rhodes in 20th.
Yeah, the top 20 certainly looking very, very peachy at the moment. And then you look even to the likes further down, one lap down, the likes of Jonathan Medeiros, Justin Laird, Brad Fink, Christian Challoner, one lap down as things stand at the moment. So Challoner not having the best of runs in the world, and we've only lost 3 vehicles really from this race, being Gonzalez, Tarasenko and Daniels as well. So already the issues certainly becoming apparent in this race, but look at the lead, because look who's closed back up. Benefield now will have the opportunity here on Randall Fawkes, and I'm not sure what Fawkes can do to really counteract it. Traffic gets down to the inside in the form of Gauthier, and Gauthier behaving very nicely into 1 and 2, and again a little bit washed out there is the driver of Randall Fawkes, and down to the inside it's going to be comfortable on exit for the driver of Benefield. So re-inherit your race lead. We'll certainly try in 3 and 4.
Certainly is, and Randall Fawkes out front still, well no, just actually lost that position. Adam Benefield taking the lead in this one, the 83 car to the front here, getting past Randall Fawkes on lap 67. Could be the start of him legging that gap once again. His tyres just lasting a little better than everybody else. The car absolutely on rails here for Benefield. Jake, it's been a really good race for him. Slow start, leading the second half of the first stint. Now he's back to the front, middle way through that second run here, and things just going from strong to better.
Exactly, and for that driver of Adam Benefield, it's about maintaining his position at the front. He's worked hard to get back there at the front of this field, and now he will look to try and work away, but Fawkes is looking to just try and keep himself in play, even though he's got the older tyres, even though that he has been dropping back more and more. He'll be using the toe to his advantage to keep himself in play, but it's about that cornering speed, the big difference between these two machines, and Fawkes is the driver who will lose out because of the fact that he is having to put in that more lean angle into the corner. He's having to turn that wheel that little bit further, and it is going to be costing him a little bit more time overall on the circuit. Still got some good battles going on, the likes of Campbell right now in a lovely scrap with Scotty Reinscheld and Samuel Roush, 6, 7 and 8. Roush starting to break away though, Reinscheld becoming the big factor in this battle.
Yeah, certainly, and it's going to be interesting to see how that one will pan out throughout the race, but well, the field really has come through now. We've got a couple of cars at the back making their next pit stop, as they are, of course, off sequence and time's not lasting quite as well for them. But front of your field really spread out here, about 7 tenths of a second between Benefield and Fawkes, coolly back by 2.5 seconds from that group. His tyres have really died off like the first run. Chuck Sweeting in fourth, he's gaining on him right now, so that's 1.5 seconds between those two. Could be a bit of a change, and you know, Jake, I think we're going to be stepping aside in just a moment's time for a quick commercial break here on RaceSpotTV. Now, we'll be back to join you guys, of course, in that second half after the commercial, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Hi guys, I'm Scott Speed, driver of this amazing Volkswagen Beetle GRC car. I got good news for the iRacing fam. We got this coming in. I'm currently working on it myself personally to make sure that it is as accurate as possible. With the addition of dirt and now this mean car, it is going to be so fun. And it's going to be available free to all the iRacing members. Personally, I can't wait to get out there and race you guys on it.
Welcome back here on RaceSpotTV to the Fight Like a Girl 200 here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. This race, of course, from as we get a yellow flag on the racetrack, we'll intro in just a second's time. perfect return from commercial there, Jake. We'll have to have a quick look at what happened out here on the racetrack, of course, to bring out that caution for us, but things not going to plan for a number of drivers. I
Looks
think
like the
today,
88.
The 88 with problems here on the racetrack as we look to find him in our standings. Samuel Harris, oh, big problems off turn number 4. I'm going to replay for you there. Loses the back end on his own and goes round and round like a spinning top. Where he'll stop, nobody knows, but it'll be on the inside there on the front stretch. Single car incident brings out caution number 2 in today's race. Harris, no damage. A very lucky spin for him on the front stretch where there is no room for error.
Exactly, and having that big spin coming out of 4 onto the front straight, he's got away with one there in the fact that nobody else has been involved in contact. But what this has done, it has completely equalized the field from the likes of Benefield, Forks, Cooley. It has changed the way that everyone is going to be looking at it, and pit road will become a very busy factor as all your leaders are deciding to make this stop in, and those who have made that stop have that potential to gain that lap back behind the pace car. Staying out is the likes of Sven Kametz, is the likes of Francois Petelier, and all those drivers who are around that mid-pack back have decided, you know what, we've already come in, there's no point in coming in again.
Absolutely. I think most people, though, in your top 17 lead lap cars will all come down for fresh tyres. They reset things for them. Adam Benefield certainly will. He wants to come in for tyres. It'll be 4 fresh tyres. Sunoco race fuel for your cars on pit road here. No reason in not taking that. But we'll go back to what we were saying about the introduction, of course. This race, the Fight Like a Girl 200 here, presented by Turn 3 Motorsports. Their teammate and iRacer Brad Miller and his family have been fighting a battle with cancer. Brad's wife Melissa was diagnosed with breast cancer, unfortunately, which she has undergone surgery for, and currently receiving 8 rounds of chemotherapy every 2 weeks for the next 4 months. And of course then after that a total of 30 rounds of radiation. So we ask you to show your support for Brad, Melissa and their family by joining us for this benefit race here on Saturday evening. And the drivers, of course, have all paid an entry fee for this one. There'll be prizes for 1st, 2nd and 3rd. And you can, of course, show your support by them, by making donations to DougGeorge87@gmail.com, which is the PayPal address for the league organizer, whose benefits will go, of course, to Brad and his family at this awful time for them. You can find that in the description, of course, also. But cancer is a terrible thing, and it's great to see so many iRacers here coming out to support this cause and support a fellow racer on the racetrack, Jake.
Exactly, and it's always great to see how everyone is looking to try and get themselves, you know, supportive in what is sometimes, from time to time, very difficult in this modern day and age to get supportive of other people. And it's great to see just how many people are getting behind the cause. 31 drivers all looking to get themselves racing here for a very worthy cause. Well, you can't argue that the racing has been very good in this second caution. Well, it certainly has changed up the game, and there is the certain saying that keeps having to be said, Rachel. Cautions, from time to time, do breed more cautions. So it may be that everyone, after having this long run, may start getting a little bit more aggressive in this second half of the event.
Oh, absolutely, and this will certainly end up being one of those situations where we could have another caution of this one with the pack of cars tightened up. It'll be the first time we've seen them really bunched up since lap 6, where they hadn't really spread out, so this could be a recipe for a bit more carnage in the second half of this race. Right now, Adam Benefield, Randall Forks, Chuck Sweeting, Jason S. Merritt, and Will Cooley, your top 5, with J.R. Smith, Samuel Roush, Joshua Campbell, Doug George, and Scotty Reinscheld, your top 10 here. This is it's going to shape up for a fun second half, this one. We're looking at about 23 laps to the 100 mark, of course, and then we got another 34. So total of about 47 laps we're looking at in this one. Also 57 laps, I should say, Jake, to run to the end here. That's just over a fuel stint. So no matter what happens, we have got one more stop here. So I won't be surprised if we see drivers really push hard in this half, because they know they have to come down. Why not split it evenly and charge evenly for 2 shorter stints, about maybe 30 laps apiece, and just go hard, or about 28, 29 laps apiece. You can afford to really push the car.
The big difficulty I think some of these drivers are going to have is the fact that if another caution comes out, it will drastically change the way that they're looking at this race, because of the fact that if one caution does come out, that strategy, if you are caught and there is a caution with 20 laps to go also, and you've already come down and made that stop, that puts you at a bigger disadvantage to everyone else. You have older tyres, you've already made that stop, and you may be out of track position, but lights off on top of the pace car, and we could be getting going again.
We certainly could be and will be getting going again. Never mind, matter of could. We will be getting going under this one. The racing first safety car will pull off down to pit road. And we'll get that flag back out again. We'll go racing here at Homestead-Miami. Field will be under command of Adam Benefield and Randall Fawkes there on the front row. And American Ethanol green flag will fly once again. And we're back under race conditions. Big jump by Adam Benefield there. Gets the perfect run into the first corner. Things do spread out a little bit further back in the pack. Not the biggest bunch up on the start we could have seen, but things have been well behaved so far. So we'll have to keep an eye on if we get any trouble coming off this start.
No trouble it seems at the moment, but side by side, P4, P5, as we look at Cooley and JR Smith. Smith to the inside, has the train to work with, and well, gonna get a little bit caught on the outside there as Cooley, who will now inherit the train of vehicles in front. So we'll have the tow into one, into two, takes the high line, which no one's really running at this stage of the event. That's going to be difficult. But as we normally see, it is Benefield who is struggling in the early goings right now. Randall Fawkes all over the back, down to the inside, change for your race lead. And thank you very much, Randall Fawkes to the point. Now Chuck Sweeting following in tow for P2.
It certainly does. And the bunch up here behind your race leader, who's not really managed to get away at the moment. In fact, back up to front, Randall Fawkes, Sweeting also making it through there. But these two short-run ponies might be willing to burn their cars and their tyres down early on to waste this one. But it looks like Adam Benefield's taking the benefit of the doubt. He's going to run a little bit more gentle here. We know he takes the lead back normally inside the first 30 laps of each stint, so he's under no real threat here. As even the 25 car, Will Cooley, going to look to the inside there and try and make it through here. The 42 of Doug George looking like he'll do the same thing, but Benefield not fighting them. He knows his car's better on later.
Yes, he does, and that's going to be crucial for Benefield in this situation, as they're going to go too wide yet again, as they're all looking to stack it up through 1 and 2, and it's working nicely right now for all those drivers P1 through 5. And well, for Benefield dropping back in 6, he knows he's got to make it past 5 more vehicles. JR Smith gets it all shades of wrong heading through turn number 3, and that's going to mean that he's going to struggle here. But what a great run he's going to get out of turn number 4. Cooley able to bring his vehicle back into the tow line, and off the train he will get bumped in through 1 again, and he will now force the driver of Doug George to head up high side to look to get that major run coming off the banking.
So he does. The 42 looks to the inside there. Doug George will make his move on the inside line. Up the inside of the 25 car, Will Cooley. Doug George there, the Turn 3 Motorsports car, going to get it done here off 4. Will just gap him, is just ahead, the 05. JR Smith going to work on Chuck Sweeting here for the second spot. Will he have a chance to do it? Will Sweeting hold the high side and keep it moving? Right now, Sweeting's got a good run. He should get a good run off the corner. Enough to keep him alongside the 05 car. Much faster line there up high. Out front, Randall Fawkes running hard, although he was from the last run as well. So right now, Fawkes in a good spot, but how long can he stay up there? The field very well behaved at this stage, actually. The field's spreading out now to a point where we aren't going to really see any big pile-up crashes in this one unless something happens. Probably on the front stretch, of course, and the car comes up into traffic, but everyone really doing a very good job here of being very careful.
They are, and that's a very good testament to the caliber of drivers that are racing right now. JR Smith suddenly back up to the point, looking at Randall Fawkes with a little bit of green eye envy, thinking I can make it up into position number 1 overall, and looking all over the back. Sweeting under pressure now for position number 3 as Doug George will head his way down to the inside. At the bottom he will try, and at that bottom he will look to try and make that move, and make that move he will, as he very comfortably just shuffles the man out of the way. Cooley now will use that momentum to get himself side by side, but for the lead, Randall Fawkes under pressure. Here comes good old JR to the point, to the lead.
He does. And JR Smith out front here today at Homestead-Miami Speedway, lap 86. He'll take that point from Randall Fawkes, whose tyres might be starting to give up a little bit already. Although all of them still running 29.9s at the moment, so good fast laps from these guys. 29.6 last time by JR Smith, a huge lap from him. Doug George 29.9 as well. But look at this, coming back now is the car of Adam Benefield, working on Sweeting here. And Benefield's tyres is coming back once again, like we said they would here, Jake. He's always had the longer run pace in this, and it seems to be showing up already.
Oh, it certainly is, and down to the inside of the struggling Sweeting he will go. So Sweeting drops back then into position number 6 and will now fall outside the realms of existence of potentially a race victory overall. George versus Cooley, though. This is the one going on for P3, P4, and Benefield will look to try and get his way back into play in this battle because of the fact that he is being a lot lighter on those tyres on 88, looking to start 89 of 134. So we are under that 50 to go marker. And now Cooley thinking, is there a chance for me to make this move again? Little look to the inside, but there is no real opportunity as of yet. Still waiting to set that move up. And sometimes it does take 3-4 laps to really jostle your man into position.
Sure, that wasn't intentional in innuendo there, Jake, but we'll keep going without that regardless, as JR Smith out front here from the 51 in second place. Will Cooley working on Doug George at the moment. The 25 car got passed by George a little bit earlier on, but Cooley seems to be getting a second wind here, might be looking at an opportunity to make a pass, but it's not looking like he'll be able to get himself through just yet. He's looking for an opening, just can't seem to find the speed or quite the run he wants in this one, but Benefield's gone past Sweeting and the gap now opening up as Sweeting's really dropping away. His tyres have gone.
They have, and he's now lost the position to Samuel Roush. You talk about the likes of Reinshell. Campbell now looking at the opportunity. Sweeting gets back though onto the train here, as looking again now down to the inside is Campbell, but Campbell isn't going to be able to make that move just yet, even though Reinshell was ever so slightly off the train there, had the ability of the side drafting to work with him, but still Cooley now able to go side by side with the driver of what is going to be Doug George. George on the outside, hoping to get that good run off of the corner, does manage to get so just about, but Benefield now will be using that advantage behind to get alongside with Cooley. Cooley though does very well there, gets himself still in position number 4, and now looking to up and under, but the other way around, so to under and over, shall we say.
Absolutely, under and over it will be. We'll see in this one. As the gap now coming down again. Benefield catching up to 25 and the 42. Really has been a game of tyres today so far, Jake. 92 laps in the book now. On to lap 93 here, and this has been an interesting race. That pink car of Adam Benefield has just been doing exactly the right thing, and all those cars passed him early on, but now he's starting to come back at them. Only 1.1 seconds though is Adam Benefield behind your race leader, so the gap has really not stretched out. These guys really charged early on, but they didn't make too much track position as they had before. This could cost them a little bit earlier on, but of course we're going to be heading up now on towards once we get another 7 laps complete, of course, 34 laps to go, so we're anytime now the pit window's really open.
Exactly, and that's going to be crucial for these drivers, because someone who comes down to pit road early, make sure that they use all of the tyres available to them right now compared to later, where maybe cautions won't let them use the tyres in the same sort of way. So it's about track position. When do you dive down onto the lane, and how much track position will that warrant you? Cooley gets the position through on the driver of Doug George. George loses the position overall. 3 wide turns to 2 wide, and George trying to help Cooley around turn numbers 1 and 2, but to the inside is Benefield, and Benefield is going to make sure that position 3 is all his.
Certainly will, of course, and Benefield will be doing his best to move forwards now. It's going to be a 2 for 1 here on both Doug George and Will Cooley. Still a second gap to the 2 cars up ahead, but Randall Fawkes now catching back up to JR Smith, who made it past him early on. But it looks as though Smith might be running out of some perf as well. He did get his car fixed into the last caution though, so that's a good one for him, but not the tyres, I don't think.
Not the tyres, so looking to try and get everything sorted out. JR Smith at the front of the field as well. Starting to struggle a bit with Randall Fawkes. Fawkes hasn't dropped off maybe the way that drivers would have expected, especially JR Smith in the front. So Randall Fawkes just being an experienced hand at the moment, Rachel, being able to just hold that position, and we are actually seeing drivers decide to jump on the lane. Samuel Harris yet again is down on the lane for I think about the 7th or 8th time I've seen him do that. So it's all about when do you decide to make that move, and for a driver like Randall Fawkes, who is looking to try and get that position, I feel if you're JR Smith, you dive in the moment he makes that move, try and cut your losses as much as possible.
Certainly, at this point, it's going to be a major factor as this one runs into its final laps now, and we must say we've had a brilliant race here, Jake. It's been really a race of endurance here on the track at Homestead-Miami. It's a track that really does lend itself to that kind of racing. As look up front here, 2 wide for the race lead. 51 and the 05 side by side through turn 1 and 2.
Yes, and now Faulks trying to force the agenda on the inside, and look at how J.R. Smith was pushing him down to the inside, trying to give him no room at all and trying to run the outside line. He's just going to get stuck up there, nowhere to go. Thank you very much. Randall Faulks back to the point, back to the race lead, up and under, trying though from J.R. Smith to get back at him. But look at Benefield in position number 3. He thinks, oh hello, I've got this opportunity to take position number 1, and unable to carry mid-speed corner speed there from the driver of J.R. Smith means that he will not be able to get back past Randall Faulks. And now Adam Benefield thinking position 2, piece of cake.
You know what, Jake? It looks like it is that way, of course, and Adam Benefield's really been doing this every single time. I'm not sure why we were even surprised he's in this place here. Is he going to go up to the inside of the 05 of J.R. Smith? And they're like, wow, deja vu. Here comes that pink car yet again. And it's going to be the 83. Taking that place very easily at this stage on the tyres. And lap 100 we're on now, so there'll be 34 laps to go this time at the stripe. And every single car here needs to pit, so it's going to be likely a 4 tyre and fuel stop. So do you wait? Because the time of 4 tyres is just under what it takes for a full tank. So these guys won't quite need a full tank on this stop. So could be fairly quick pit stops. They can go anytime from now.
They could here, and that is going to be crucial. Are they all banking on a caution? You'd feel that drivers from about P5 back would think about making this gamble. These drivers at the front will be thinking about splitting the strategy and making sure that I won't come in until you come in, and I won't come in until you come in. It's a game of playing chicken. Who's going to be the first to dive down onto pit road and make that decision? Roush, though, has bridged the gap, though, here to the leading 5. It's now a leading 6. Roush will go down to the inside of Doug George, looking but for the lead. Again, down heavy to the inside is the driver of Benefield. Heavy up high side is the driver of Randall Faulks. Faulks will get a good run off the exit, but it won't matter because we got all pink everything up front itself, as now the battle for P5 continues.
Really is, as at the moment it is out front. Adam Benefield doing exactly what he has to do, but yeah, P5 fight is not over yet. Doug George coming back here, looking like he's going to try and make a move. As well, Samuel Roush has been shoving his way through this field. Another driver with good tyres remaining, but this is really the point now where we'll see anybody potentially come down pit road. Could be any lap, but now we'll see any of these guys decide to break for it. This is the window, and well, with these guys getting passed by Benefield, now might be the time, but they might think, if I leave this a bit longer, I might be able to gap him later on and keep my tyres in good condition. It took him about 30 laps to do it, so
that was Doug George. That was Doug George into the wall at 4 there, getting bumped off the back of the group, and well, no contact with anyone else. It was just a case of being a little bit too aggressive through 4, and it's just like that. You can now make sure that he is the bridge between two worlds as Chuck Sweeting looks to come back into it.
Yeah, he really does. As at the moment, he's going to be trying to get himself into a position here to make some track room, but it's looking pretty quiet, actually. He's not damaged the car too heavily. I think it's largely in good condition, but it's costing him some time from what I'm looking at.
Yeah, it is costing him. We're looking at
66.
76. Yeah, 76 and 66. This is Brad Miller and Sven Kametz going at it. Kametz on the outside, Miller on the inside. And well, Miller is going to take it on the inside. Is there an up and under opportunity for the 66? Trying it is Kametz, but we'll be a little bit too far back then. The P15, P14 battle that is continuing, and I believe we are having some drivers decide to come in. Reinscheld's making the move. Pajari is trying to make the move. Cooley in, Roush in, Faulks in. But as crucially, out will stay drivers like Benefield in this situation, and George, J.R. Smith as well. So now the split strategy in play. A caution would be disastrous.
It certainly would be disastrous at this point in time, as a number of drivers going to come onto pit road. Yeah, Benefield there, and Smith, George also, but he's got damage. You'll want to use that repair because he has still got it available here. I want to cost too much time. Oh, the 05 nearly tries to come down pit road. That's not going to, he's going to get a penalty for that. I'm positive the 05 will get a penalty.
Unsafe pit entry, yes, certainly does. So trying to keep yourself on the lane, you've got to stay on the lane. And for J.R. Smith, it's going to be a little bit longer in that box and out of the race lead battle, you would say. you know, you are taking liberties coming in, and in the high pressure situation, J.R. Smith, no other words about it, he's choked.
He has. That's not what we expect from J.R. Smith, especially a guy who's driven a Homestead so much. I think he just didn't realise the last moment, perhaps, but that has actually really hurt him. But cars will get off to the pit road here. Adam Benefield got 4 tyres and fuel. He's off pit road very quickly there. Should maintain the lead once this one cycles through. Only 9 cars yet to pit, in fact, including those guys on pit road now. This one should filter through fairly well. It could be in Adam Benefield's complete benefit in this one. Benefield's benefit. That almost sounds like a thing. As yeah, here comes Roush.
And around the outside and make the move. So no, Benefield doesn't have the lead. Roush does. So now up to speed. Here comes Benefield back at him again. It's certainly not over on lap 108. They look to start a 134. So now Roush under pressure. Now to the inside, looks to maneuver Benefield. And look who's stuck on the outside. Roush, no way through. He opens the door though for Cooley to come down to the inside. And Cooley will take full effect of it. Yeah,
he said he will. Cooley going to get himself to a great position here. And he could be in a fight with the car of Benefield there, but Benefield can afford to push hard now. He knows he's only got less than 30 laps to go. He can really push this one, put the pedal down on the floor of that car and really charge for this one. It would be a great run for him. He knows he doesn't have to be very calm with the car. Is he going to get around some lap traffic there to 45 on the low side? Caution now would be a bad thing, but Chuck Sweeting and Brad Miller are going to need to pit soon. I think Miller might have already pitted, I'm not sure. I don't think they have, though. I think those two are still out on the track. Going to push this as long as fuel goes and hope for a caution, which flies. My gosh. That changes everything.
It is. It's Gauthier as well, the 64 on the back stretch on his own. He looks to get himself through turn number 2, gets loose on exit, tries to hold it 2-3 times, hits the wall and collects nobody with him, but will spread eagle across the circuit. So lucky that no one else gets involved, but what a time for a caution, a free caution for Sweeting and Miller, and these two drivers can come in, take their good feed and get going again, and has basically put everyone else at a major disadvantage.
That's not going to be a huge problem here, really, because everybody else is going to wave around. That's pretty much a given. Challoner, I think, will take the lucky dog, and he can afford to basically get a free pit stop out of this one, but at the same time, speed's not been up there, perhaps, with the front guys. Everyone's going to wave around. The likes, of course, of Benefield and Cooley just off pit road. They'll be fine, especially with the number of laps we have to go. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one happens. But, of course, you got to say, 90% of the field here is going to be waved around and starting single file, which is less likely to see another caution happening. But it doesn't mean Benefield or Cooley will be that far from the front still. They'll perhaps be in 4th and 5th place still, which is exactly where they want to be, because they will, of course, being waved to back, having waved around, but the end of the longest line will be 3rd place, so they'll be fine.
They will, and being 3rd place is always going to be good, but the issue comes along of having to still make 2 positions between now and the end of the race. So the 26 with that lead, Chuck Sweeting. We know Sweeting is good on the early stint, but later on in this one, it starts to really struggle, or he starts to really struggle, shall I say, between now and the end of this one. So having that big struggle is always going to be an issue, especially on the fact that we got 20 laps left in a stint there or thereabouts. That is going to be one of the big difficulties to deal with here. Sweeting will be just about on the fringes of falling back.
Yeah, very much so, and it won't be a situation you'll quite like in this one, but it's definitely one he's got to deal with. But Sweeting will have to push hard on this run to keep himself out front. He's had good tyres, but overall pace hasn't been perhaps as magical as some of the others, but it's been good. 29.4s. He's not really dropped lower than that, so we'll have to see how he holds up on this run.
Yes, so the final run is going to be the important factor for quite a lot of these drivers. Brad Miller as well, who's been a driver who started 29th here today, hasn't really shown too much to get up forward, but when the matter comes along, it's going to be a solid result. Remember, not everyone's fighting for victory here today, Rachel. Remember, it's not just the victory prize that everyone's looking for. There's a P2 prize and a P3 prize as well, but of course, they cut it in half every time, so everyone wants P1, but P2, P3, you would still be kind of happy with that to get a result.
Certainly would be, of course. Just to remind you of those prizes the drivers are fighting for, of course. $100 iRacing gift card for the winner. $50 for second place and $25 for third. So top three payout positions are still huge rewards for these guys. And of course, all benefits going to a good cause in this one. So that will be important to see for this. But as it stands, it's going to be great to see these guys doing what they can. And of course, the good cause this is for, of course, in support of Brad Miller and his wife Melissa and her, of course, cancer treatment. But this is part of the iRacing community, Jake. This is what these guys do. iRacers are some of the best when it comes to coming together for a good cause.
Yes, they certainly are. And well, it seems that yet again, iRacing community has certainly got that right as the wave around starts to happen, and every man and his dog decides to make their way through then at this stage. And this is going to bunch everyone up once again, but not long, as we have stated quite a lot before, that they have to get themselves back around. Only a couple of laps really, Rachel, before we're getting ourselves back going again.
It will be, and we will get ourselves going, and this will be a sprint now to the end. We'll have 20 laps to the end of this race, so it's going to be time to go here.
And the fact that it is going to soon be time to go is going to be the anticipation factor. A caution now will only just slow the clock down, and if you're at the front, you just hope here, like a driver like Chuck Sweeting gets maybe 2-3 cautions in a row, only has to run 1 or 2 laps between now and the end of the race, really not have to fight at all for positions, and hope that the mid-pack starts running themselves into issues. In comes pace car, and I believe we're off.
I reckon that's our green flag will fly. It's a very disjointed start, of course, with most of the field single file, but moving up to the field, there's going to be a lot of traffic actually ahead there for Benefield. Working his way through cars that I think were a lap down and didn't go around, so there's lap traffic there they're having to filter through that didn't get waved, so that's going to be a problem for those guys. They want to make sure they can actually get back up towards the lead. There's a lot of cars in the way, actually. It's about 10 to 12 cars for the likes of Coley and Benefield to get up through.
Yeah, don't forget Randall Fox
top 3 seconds, yeah. 3-second gap there already because of that lap traffic for the top 3 from the competitors who are now back on the lead lap, but of course were trapped a lap down by that yellow flag. They're working their way up fast, but they're going to have to work together here to get up there, as the likes of Coley, Fawkes and Benefield, Samuel Roush as well behind them, are going to have to push hard now to get up there. And will they have enough left when they get there?
That is very, very crucial. 3 seconds is very difficult to always close down, and Christian Challoner, out of nowhere, is now within that group of the top 3 to really make that pay dividends here in second place. So it's not as if it's all plain sailing at the front, and you can see just how those drivers here in the middle of that pack are working together. Fawkes with Cooley just behind, looking to get back into play as they've got around Joshua Mertz. The next vehicle they need to negotiate is Gauthier, the instigator of that incident a little more. And from there, it's only 2 vehicles they've got to get past. So 3 to the leaders, but crucially 3 to the leaders and 2 seconds to the back of Brad Miller with not long to go.
It is indeed, and while Brad Miller is running as hard as he can, but we'll see whether Brad Miller can hold him up for long. Miller, of course, on the back of this lead group here in 3rd place right now. That Turn 3 Motorsports Kiss machine there, going to try and push as hard as he can to keep up the leaders, but they have really gapped him here. Challoner, 2nd place, and 1st place Chuck Sweeting. Challoner took that wave round, of course, which got him a much better starting spot in that one. But Chuck Sweeting got to believe his luck here. Got 0.4 of a second gap here over Challoner, and over his nearest competitors, about 3 seconds here on the racetrack. This is an ideal situation for Chuck Sweeting.
It is, and they're fighting side by side, and Fawkes is going to get boxed in there by the traffic of Gauthier, and there's not much that Fawkes could have done. Now has to drop that position, and all that time they're trying to gain is only going one way, and that is backwards. 3.1 was the gap last time by. That's going to be a little bit larger. It's now 3.3. They're going the wrong way on the stopwatch to get themselves back into play in this event. Keep an eye on Sweeting, though, because it's not guaranteed here with a half a second gap.
Not at all, but he'll do what he can in this to try and keep himself competitive. But they are at some point going to get to a point where they run out of tyre. They push hard as they can to make up time, but they will get to that point where it balances out and they can't make any more forward progress because they've run out of their one commodity, Goodyear rubber, on these cars, and that's going to be their big sticking point as they're going to filter through traffic here. The 64 there, and the 24 not making things easy for these guys pushing forwards. Of course, they aren't on the same lap, so they really shouldn't be fighting with them, but at the same time, look at that gap up ahead. That's a huge, huge gap to the top 3 and 4 cars. I'm going to see if, I'll be surprised if in the next 13 laps they can make that gap up.
I'm surprised as well if they are able to make that manage into the wall a little bit. There goes Cooley, has a little love tap there. So Cooley is now starting to feel the effects there of pushing a little bit too hard in this event, and Sweeting from nowhere in this event, from going backwards, now holds 0.6 of a second, looking towards 0.7 over Christian Challenger, and potentially may have the race victory wrapped up. But as we know, tyres go away quickly on Sweeting's vehicle. This may be the chance for Challenger, who has been pretty much under the radar all race long, to get himself back into this one. But again, another 0.5 knocked off.
It is, and they have to work as hard as they can to make anything from this. Chuck Sweeting, 0.7 now over Christian Challenger. He's pushing as hard as he can, 29.7 last time by. This has got to be a tense moment for him. How long will his tyres last? Is he pushing as hard as he has to? Or is he cruising here? Does he know he's got to save space, and is he just running what he has to make sure he lasts the distance in this race? Could this be Chuck Sweeting in a prime spot here for a runaway victory, thanks to the just pure luck of that caution? Of course, I had a quick look back, Jake, being a fan of controversy, of course, to see if the vehicle's team involved in the crash was anything related to any of the top 3 drivers, and it wasn't. So perhaps my controversy needle was knocked on the head there. But you've got to consider, though, when there's 2 cars in the lead lap and someone has a solo spin, are they related? I didn't think so.
But look at the gap. It's now Challenger closing in inch on inch. Sweeting's tyres going a little bit more. The gap back again down to 0.6 of a second. So now he is being reeled in with just not very long to go. 10 laps and under. The 10-lap warning in effect. Challenger needs to close at a rate of about 0.06 a lap, and he's doing just about enough at this stage to keep himself in this fight. And that draft effect will get more and more impressive the more they go on. Brad Miller falling backwards. He's going to get out of this fight. It's strictly 2 to the flag, it seems.
It certainly could be, but with the number of laps we're looking at here, we have, I still think, another 10 laps left in this one to make this one interesting, but it's going to be a close run thing. The time's coming down, 2.5 seconds now. That's actually Brad Miller. No, 3.9 for Cooley, Forks, and Benefield. They're not going to get there. Their tyres have, I think, have really just gone off here. They've not got enough lap time left to do this unless something happens, but Challenger's getting back up towards Sweeting. The gap's come back down. Miller's dropped off, so this will really be a long story for them to deal with. But I mean, the leaders are so far away now. I think this one's nearly impossible. 4 seconds, the gap is opening up, tyres have gone. Cooley, Forks, and Benefield were fighting so hard this race. They had the real chance, but getting trapped a lap down, unable to pit. That has cost them this race.
It certainly has in this situation. Gap down 0.5 second only between Challenger and Sweeting, and we're looking at 6 laps to go when they cross the line. So Challenger closing it down more and more and more, and Sweeting trying to run it to the border is unable at the moment to really break away in this one. Challenger doesn't have much caution though. That's going to be white-yellow.
It is. We are going to have an interesting one here, because I think we're going to get 1 or 2 laps here. It'll be a green-white checker to end this race. I don't know what's happened. Can you have a quick look for us there, Jake?
Go to ping on the back straight. And yes, it was
64 again.
Wide. Yeah, it was 3 wide on the back straight. Jason Merritt was pushing up a little bit into Ping. Ping then gets tagged around, and then Gautier hit as well. 3-car incident between them, and a heavy contact there for Gautier, who gets absolutely demolished. Ping also with engine damage.
Yeah, we'll have a quick look back at this one, of course. You see there, it was the 03 getting the 24. 24 tags 64, so 64 actually innocent in that one, but wow, that was a big crash, and well, I don't think, I think this could be interesting now. The gap has been destroyed. We're now back to a point where we have cars close together. Who pits? Well, it looks like Brad Miller pits. Will Cooley stays out. Benefield pits. A lot of cars stay on the racetrack. A lot, no, lap down cars. I think some of those are lap down cars. So I think everyone's coming in here. Chuck Sweeting stays out. Challenger stays out. Will Cooley stays out. Forks has stayed out. Campbell Merritt. Oh, a lot of cars have stayed out here. First car to pit is 8th place. Adam Benefield, this is a huge gamble, but he knows his tyres went away. Now it's time to go aggressive. Can he pass 8 cars in 2 laps? Compared to their tyres, it could be possible here. This could be enough of an overlap. They could think maybe we can hold him off for 2 laps, but I think he has a chance.
It's difficult, and the 2-tyre call then from the 42 machine looking to try and get himself through. Doug George going for a different strategy compared to absolutely everyone else. So he gets track position on 2 tyres looking to get himself into play. Looking about where he is compared to Talbot, I'd say that he's 6-7 rows back. So you've got to really make sure that you get those positions back into play. If you are 6-7 rows back, like the drivers of Benefield are, I think it's too far back in this very, very late stage to make yourself through. Granted, you've got to try and close down 2 seconds over the course of 2 laps. Not very difficult on new tyres, especially to these 17, 18 lap old tyres that the likes of Sweeting is going to have compared to Challoner as well. But this is the thing, they've got only 1 or 2 laps to do that. I think drivers like Challoner and Sweeting, I think they're safe at the front if they continue to hold it at the front. But Cooley is going to be the big, big playing factor in this one because he's been so quick all race. And in position number 3, he's got to get past 2 vehicles, and he has all the time in the world to do it.
He does, and wow, this is going to be a tough one to call here. This is going to be an exciting end to our race. I am going to be very excited to see what will come from this, and Adam Benefield, when he filters out, I'm going to see where he will be in this position, but this will be a very defining race, and depending on where he does come across the line and where he lines up, there's so much to play for in this. If he's 8th or 9th like I think he is, that's still 4 cars from the front, and that's not a huge amount of cars to pass on one lane. Should this one filter through, we're going to have an explosive end to this race, folks. This one will be a big, big finale. Go big or go home. And you know what? What a fitting end to this race. We'll have some great, great action here. This won't be a single car 3 seconds ahead of the field winning the race. This will be a dogged battle to the line. Top 8 cars here, really, on old tyres. Brad Miller, Adam Benefield on new tyres. Doug George on 2 tyres. Top, I think, the moment, 8 cars maybe on old tyres. They've got to be very, very concerned.
They have to be, and when they cross the line to start lap 133, the lights are off on the pace car. It will be a 2-lap sprint to the end. Eyes, though, look to the drivers P3, P4, Cooley and Fawkes, who have been up there at the front most of the race, have the opportunity of making something happen. The pace, again, though, will be on Chuck Sweeting for him to try and break away, and as we've seen, all throughout this race on restarts, it's been Chuck Sweeting's work. But for those drivers at the back, it's elbows out time, shall we say. It's time to fight like a girl.
It certainly is time to fight like a girl, and, well, if we're using elbows, let's go for that one. But as things stand, I love the segue there, Jake, but what we have to watch out for this time is wheel slip on this start. These are old tyres. We're talking 20 laps here on these tyres. There's going to be some wheel slip. These guys may not get the launch they want compared to the guys on fresh rubber behind them. And, well, the 2-tyre call by Doug George could be enough, but it might not be. We've got to keep an eye there on the likes of Adam Benefield, Samuel Roush here, and Scotty Ranshield on 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. The pace car is off. The fielding the command of Chuck Sweeting, and he goes early. Big, big run, and it's a slow start by most of your field. Here comes Adam Benefield with a huge run already. So does Doug George, and they're going. And this one is going to be a huge climax. Benefield pushing fast already. Look at the speed difference. Look at how fast he's coming. George is boxed in. 3 wide, a car in the wall. They hold it straight. Just about there. And look at this. Benefield going already, moving himself up inside of Doug George there. Whoa. Behind him, oh, round goes Challoner, through goes the car as he holds onto it. Oh my gosh, Adam Benefield held onto it as we have our big junk that we expected. And look at that, Benefield sneaks through. It will be Chuck Sweeting who will take the flag, but Adam Benefield there dodges it like a pro. We'll get a replay of what happened and the junk that ensued, but we're watching that now. Will Cooley there, I think, was the cause of this one. Unfortunately, got himself into the back quarter of Challoner, turns Challoner around in front of the field, nowhere to go, big, big junk, and it actually tags the car of Benefield. He gets sideways a little bit, but he locks it down and holds on. He knows the caution flag's out. He's got the spot, and the field is toast.
It certainly is, Rachel, but I got to disagree with you. I think this one is actually on the driver of Randall Fawkes, because Fawkes taps the back of Cooley, which forces the tap on the back of the driver of Challoner. So an instant, a 3-car pileup causes a multi-million car pileup. A lot of junk between now and the end of this race. And, well, we said it was going to be fireworks. It certainly has been here today.
It certainly has been a running order there for you. The points winning prize is $100 in iRacing credits to Chuck Sweeting. Second place, Adam Benefield, $50 there from 8th place to 2nd off that wreck. Samuel Roush, one of the ones I said would come through as well. 3rd place, $25 to him. Behind them, it is Scotty Reinscheld, Carlos Fonseca in 5th place, Jason K. Miller, Michael Jeans, Sven Kamertz, Randall Fawkes in 9th place, Jason Merritt in 10th. Rest of your field are a lap down or destroyed at this point, but it's Doug George, Francois Peltier, Christian Challoner from 2nd place all the way down, Will Cooley, Joshua Campbell, J.R. Smith, Brad Miller, Alan Pajal, Joshua Mertz, Brad Fink, Matthew Talbot, Justin Laird, Ernie Ludwig, Stephen Gaultier, Dustin Ping, Carl Rhodes, Samuel Harris, Jonathan Menderos. What a race there we had today. Carlos Gonzalez, sorry, coming in last place there, 29. The others, I believe, were not runners. Oh no, Jason Tatanko and Jason Daniels in 31st did in fact run. What a race we had here as Chuck Sweeting burns it down on the front stretch there. What a race we've had, in fact. And we're going to take a chance right now to have a quick chat with 2nd place finisher today. If he's around, I don't think he is, unfortunately, just yet. So we'll see who else we have got to talk to. Doug George is around. Doug George, this is Rachel Whiteford up here in the RaceSpotTV booth. You got us?
Yeah, tip 4.
Hey, Doug. What a race we had there at the end. You took 2 tyres on that final caution, and, well, it just went full NASCAR in front of you.
Yeah, that got a little bit crazy. I think the majority of the guys behind me had fresh ones. I know they were going to be pressuring pretty hard, so it was go time for everybody.
Certainly was, of course, but 2-tyre call was brave, and it was looking like it was working, actually. You and, of course, Adam Benefield working your way up there pretty quickly, but just not to be. But racing for a good cause, of course, and biggest question of the night, did you have fun?
Oh, absolutely. It was fun putting on the race. It was fun racing with these guys. We got some of the best sim racers in the world in here, so it's always good to get in with them and see how you stack up. And you know, I'm just happy for Brad, happy for Melissa, and hope they had a good time, hope they had fun. It sounded like Brad was having a pretty good time anyway.
Well, hopefully they did. Hopefully they did. And thank you very much for joining us, Doug George. 42 car coming home today in 11th place.
Thanks, guys.
Next up, we've got Adam Benefield. Adam, what was running through your mind in those last few laps? Of course, you had a car today to beat. You had a car that wasn't fastest at the start of a stint, but it really came into its own after about 25 laps in a racing stint. But that late caution, trapped a lap down, getting back to lead lap, old tyres, it falling away from your hands and a late caution. You're back on the lead lap. You've got tyres, you're 8th, you're the 1st or 2nd car on new tyres. Just what ran through your mind?
It sucks, man. I'm so disappointed. I mean, it's, you know, we came away 2nd, but the way that car was dominant. Yeah, I mean, like you said, it came to life, and when it did, it just got nasty. And you know, I hated to see that caution. I was feeling good with the spot we were in, and we got trapped a lap down, and then we had to battle through lap cars to, you know, so it was on that last, or what we thought was the last restart, we were behind the 8-ball from the get-go because the gap between, you know, us and the guys that took tires. But you know, the caution came out, and I knew I had to do something. I knew, you know, everybody that stayed out, it seemed like newer tires were just such a huge advantage, so I took a gamble, and I come out a little better than I thought I was going to. And I don't know, I mean, the car was hooked no matter where I ran it, and I found something down there by the white line, and I knew if I had fresh tires I could run it no problem. I wished I would have got to run that last lap out. I wish they wouldn't have stacked. I felt like no matter what I was going to come out of turn 4 there on the coming to the white in like second or third, and then you know the newer tires probably would have helped me out for that last lap to get the chuck, but we just ran out of time. It just sucks. I wanted to win this race so bad. My aunt, she dealing with breast cancer, and you know, so it kind of hits home with me, and I was driving my tail off trying to get this win tonight. It just, you know, didn't work out for us. We came away second, and you know, it's all for a good cause. This is for Miss Melissa and Brad. You know, they're going through a tough time right now, and tried to put on a hell of a show for them, and I know that last restart right there was crazy, so I wish I could have got it done, but we didn't. It is what it is.
Certainly is what it is indeed. Well, thanks very much for joining us, Adam Benefield. Coming home today in second place. You do walk away, of course, with a $50 iRacing gift card. So a great race, a great performance there, and one of the luckiest escapes I've seen in a long time.
I appreciate it, and I want to. I don't know who's handing out the money, but give that to Brad. I don't, or you know, give it to Brad and Miss Melissa if they can.
There you go. What a great gesture there from Adam Benefield.
I don't want the money. This was all for fun, and we had a great time, and it was a great race. So, you know, I hope everything works out, and keep fighting. You know, beat it. I know you can, and just keep your chin up and keep digging.
Great sentiments there, and a great gesture from Adam Benefield. Thanks for joining us, Adam.
Thank you.
Well, next up, Samuel Roush and Will Cooley are here with Jake Sperry. Jake, quick words with those two drivers, please.
Yeah, certainly will. Will, I'll come to you first on this because you were up there in that scrap for the victory at the very, very end. You know, you'd been in that situation all race long where you'd been up there fighting, up inside that top 3, top 5, always going at it. Caution comes out at the wrong time, and then suddenly your whole alignment changes with about 20-odd to go, and you find yourself 3 seconds back. What was going through your head?
Time to dig. That's what I was thinking. I mean, we were really, really fast on the short run, and then we fell off pretty hard after that. So we were just going for it. That was an absolute blast at the end. I think we were all just kind of throwing caution to the wind there. But yeah, that was definitely kind of a wrench in our game plan. We didn't expect to have to come up through there, and we were almost catching those guys, and then the yellow came out, and I think we all probably knew it was going to end in a crazy mess like that.
Well, certainly it was a crazy mess towards the end, and of course you were right in the maelstrom, shall we say, about that yourself, getting a little bit of a tap behind from Randall Fawkes. You know, when everyone's pushing around in that sort of, you know, late stage of the race, is it very easy to apportion blame, or is it something that you sort of have to accept in the form of NASCAR racing?
Yeah, you just accept it, and Randall was pretty quick. Even before that caution came out, he was starting to run me a little bit, and I was really just trying to fall in line behind Christian there. I knew there was a little grip on the bottom, both ends. I kind of found it the run before, also up high, just kind of half a lane, higher or lower. So I saw him playing around with lines before I even did, so I kind of figured he may try to go low, but it's just a hornet's nest when you get down to the end of a lot of these, and when there's prize money on the line, and everyone wants to do really good, so it's no hard feelings. That was a heck of a race, and I hope that was a good show for everybody to watch, and I hope Brad and Melissa, you know, I hope this took their mind off of things for a little bit. You know, Dad had a battle with prostate cancer, so I think some of us in the field probably have a personal connection with that kind of disease, so just cool to be a part of this, and once again, no hard feelings. We're just going for it at the end.
Certainly have been, and Samuel P3 overall in this one as well. And for you, you'd been there around the fringes of the top 5, always looking to be there or thereabouts. You know, you suddenly find yourself inside the top 5 with however long it is to go, about 20-30 laps. And suddenly there's a real opportunity for you to start, you know, finding yourself a good grind, getting yourself a good lane, and actually coming out with a really nice result at the end of it.
Yeah, our car was a little opposite of Will's there, where we weren't very, very good on the short run, but as the run went on, we were really good on the long run. So when that caution came out, I believe it was the third to last one, the one that happened right after pit stops, it kind of killed us, me and Adam both. We were set up for the long run, and it took about 15 laps for the car to start coming in, and that caution came out. So, I mean, what kind of saved us to get back up to second and third, because I don't think we were going to get up that high, was that the second to last caution, because we were able to get fresh tires and miss the melee there. Green-white checkers are always pretty crazy, especially when it's mixed up with 4 tires, 2 tires, no tires. So all in all, able to salvage something really, really good.
And before we let you go, well, the both of you go, shall we say, is there any sponsors or shout-outs you'd like to give?
Definitely from my team, One Up Motorsports completely. Adam, Jason K. Miller, Christian Chaliner, Alan Pajari, Josh Campbell, Travis Sollenberger, just everyone on that. iAnalyze, Houston Build Engineering, they help us with our peak program pretty well. Hardcore Paints, and just everyone on the team that helps us do this. And it was good to be able to come out here and put on a good show. Hopefully it helped Brad and Melissa there with raising money and having some fun as well. All in all, good night. So.
Yeah, and thanks to the crew at J Shores Motorsports. For me, we kind of were winging it on the setup, and that was definitely very experimental. But also thanks to WG Lot Clearing and Landscaping, Junction Auto Parts, and we also had a cool little, a couple little prostate cancer awareness items on the car tonight, just encouraging people get checked. And early detection helps a lot with all this. And my well wishes again to Brad and Melissa.
Well wishes all round then. Samuel Roush, position 3, and the driver bumped out of P3, Will Cooley, who falls a little bit further down the order to position 14. Very great to see them joining us, Rachel, but I believe you found a winner.
I have, but real quick, just before we get to Chuck Sweeting, Scotty Ranshield's here with us just briefly. Scotty came home today a little bit down the order from where you would have liked, but 4th place in the end, a good result.
Oh yeah, we had a great time. To be honest, I really had a 9th or 10th place car there, and got a little off cycle trying to get enough fuel there at the end, and you know, it ended up, you know, making it through the madness there at the end and coming out with a good finish. And it was a great time, great cause, and I'm really glad everybody showed up for us.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us, Scotty. You came home today in 4th place with a 77 car. Oh, good luck just making it through that end wreck.
Yeah, I just seen everybody kind of going different directions and figured I'd just keep my foot in it and see where I ended up.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Scotty. Okay, finally we do have a chance to chat to your race winner today. We saved you the best for last. Chuck Sweeting today wasn't really in the lead for most of the race, but he got a lucky break with a late race caution. He really gapped the field on the next run from that. And then the worst happened behind him, but in his case the best. It's exactly what a driver wants to see when he's on old tyres and has to make a green-white checker run to the flag. Chuck, what a race.
Thank you. Yeah, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but we weren't bad today, but definitely not a top 3 car, but it was a lot of fun. Great race for a great cause, and I never went at this place, so I'm as shocked as anybody.
Well, it was a good result indeed. Your car was definitely stronger in the kind of early to middle of a run, but you got so lucky there at the end. I mean, what must it have been like to see that huge wreck happen in your rearview mirror after that final start? You knew perhaps guys from 8th and 9th were coming through on fresh tyres, but relief?
Yeah, definitely relief. I wouldn't have won if that caution had to come out. I'm pretty sure, pretty sure that Adam was going to take the win there with those fresh tires, and even before that caution, Christian was running me down, and I'm pretty sure he was going to get me too. So a lot of luck involved at the end of that race for me. But yeah, it was fun, and I'm tickled to death to get the win.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Chuck Sweeting, and your dog, who I believe I heard in the background there, celebrating his Masters win. Or her Masters win, I should say. But a fantastic one either way. And of course, you walk away with a $100 iRacing gift card from this one, and in support of a great cause.
Yeah, they can use that money to go towards the cause for Brad and Melissa. They need it, and you know, I just had wanted to come out, have some fun, and enjoy myself tonight, and I did. And thanks to my team owner Randall Fox and the work he did on the setup, and our sponsors iTate and Fast Track Sims, everybody that supports us, allows us to do stuff like this and help people out when we can.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Chuck Sweeting walking away today in the first spot in this special Fight Like a Girl 200 here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. And just to kind of finally wrap up, of course, this was a special presentation by RaceSpotTV on iRacing Live, of course, presented by Turn 3 Motorsports. Their teammate and iRacer, Brad Miller, and his family have been fighting the battle of cancer, and Brad's wife, Melissa, was diagnosed with breast cancer, to which she's been undergoing surgery and receiving chemotherapy, of course, and will soon be receiving radiation treatments. So this race has been in support of her and Brad and their family in this terrible, terrible ordeal. As I mentioned previously, of course, if you do want to make a donation to support them, you can send that to douggeorge87@gmail.com. It's the PayPal address for Doug George, the league organizer. You've been watching a special presentation here of RaceSpotTV on iRacing Live. I've been Rachel Whiteford. I've been joined by Jake Sperry, and this has been, of course, directed by Hugo Louise. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you soon.